Hi guys, today we're looking at foam rolling and going to focus on the lower body. Um, a lot of people I know I've shown and told the benefits of foam rolling, but I thought I'd put it across in a short video so that it helps people jog their memory or they can revisit it at any point. So foam rolling is really essential for maintaining the health of the soft tissues, the fascia that envelopes the muscles themselves, even the tensions that are going through connective tissue and tendons and so on. So it really is a vital part when we're exercising on a regular basis, especially with the intensities that we tend to in some of the workouts. We're putting a lot of stress and strain through the muscles. The muscles can become really tight, and as they start to become more and more tense, they can start to distort joints, pull them out of position, put more pressure and tension through them. And also, what we can find is that sometimes when we exercise, we can damage muscle tissue a little more than perhaps maybe is ideal, and therefore we can get adhesions and little knots within the muscle that prevent the muscle from working efficiently and effectively. So the foam roller will help to break those down and sort of maintain the health of the tissue. So really, everyone should be foam rolling. The optimal time to do it is to foam roll um, before a workout, but you can also do a foam roll after a workout. In conjunction with stretching, you should always foam roll before you perform any stretches as well. So if you're going to stretch out your legs or any other part of the body, you should ideally foam roll it first because it makes the tissues more supple and ready to be stretched. So it's definitely a really worthwhile sort of exercise and beneficial. Some key areas that we're going to look at foam rolling today. We're going to look at foam rolling the quads, the front of the thighs, the hamstrings, the backs of the thighs, the calves when they're really tight and locked up, especially for women. If you're wearing heels and boots and things like that, a lot of the time the calves can be really tight, and that can prevent you being able to squat properly. A lot of people that have knee issues have got really tight IT bands, which is the outer part of the thigh, that can pull the kneecap over. So we're going to sort of focus on all of these areas. So I'll start playing this video now so that you can sort of see how the technique works. Just one thing to mention on the video, I'm just literally showing you how to position the foam roller and roughly where to roll up to and from. Normally, the way we do with foam rolling is that you are trying to investigate the muscle tissue. So when you foam rolling, don't go too fast up and down it. That can be the tempting thing to do, and it sometimes is quite uncomfortable and unpleasant when you foam rolling. So the key is to sort of roll up and down the length of the muscle. Try not to go over actual joints, yeah. So just the length of the muscle when you get to a joint stop, and move the foam roller before you actually go over the joint. Um, and what we're doing is as you move up and down the muscle, you're trying to identify where there's real tension spots within the muscle or where there's real tender spots. And when you hit one of those tender spots, what you can do is actually pause there for around 5 to 10 seconds instead of just moving straight on over it. And once you pause on there for 5 to 10 seconds, try and relax into it. So take some nice deep breaths in, and as you breathe out, try and relax deeper and deeper into that position. And then you can move to the next sort of tender spot. You'll notice some parts of the muscle feel really comfortable and okay. Other parts will feel very uncomfortable, and they're the bits that we really want to focus on. As you can see on the video, I'm using a smooth foam roller, but you can get more intense ones with little nodules on that will get into the tissues deeper and create more sort of pressure in there. So if you're new to it, you can get just a bog standard foam roller,
Doesn't need to be anything fancy. From most of the sports stores will sell them. Okay, so we're going to start off with the quads, the fronts of the thigh. So as you can see, what you're doing is pretty much going into a plank position, and then what you're going to do is roll right down towards the top of the kneecap, and then all the way up towards the sort of the hips there, the pelvis. Again, not going across any of the joints. And as I say, if you was finding real tender spots in there, it would be really important to sort of focus in on those, and pause and breathe through it and get into each of those areas. It's also really important that you make sure that your core is tight as well, so that your back isn't dipping, so that you focus on keeping that core tension whilst you're rolling the fronts of the thighs. Normally, it's the outer part of the thigh that's the tighter area, so don't just think of going up and down the muscle in a straight line. You'll see in some of the other sections of the video that we turn into different positions to get into all aspects of the muscle. So next is the IT bands. This is the outer part of the thigh. This is what can cause a lot of problems with knees. So as you can see, I'm using my arms to sort of guide how much pressure I'm putting into the foam roller, and I can also use the leg that's not on the foam roller there. I can put that on the floor to take some pressure off it, or I can put it on top of the other leg to apply more pressure into the foam roller. So use your arms, use your legs to help support yourself. Obviously, you don't want to find you getting any pain in any other areas. And of course, you do both sides, both IT bands. The next is the calf. So I tend to focus on each individual calf. Yeah, so you're gonna, as you can see, put one leg on top of the other. That's to apply a little bit more pressure. If you found that was too uncomfortable, you don't have to do that. You'll notice how I'm turning the leg inwards to get into the inner part of the calf, and then I'll turn the leg outwards slightly. That's it, to get into all areas. Yeah, and really sort of find out where are your tension spots, where is it that's most uncomfortable for you, and that's what we want to try and work on. So next we're going into the outer hip, into the gluteal or bum area. So as you can see, first thing we do is cross the leg over. So I'm trying to get there in that particular one. I'm trying to foam roll into the left gluteal, yet into that left side. So I've crossed that leg over, and now I'm just going to angle myself sideways on slightly so that I can get right into the left gluteal muscles. And again, you're using your arms behind there. Just make sure that you don't overstretch the shoulders when you're doing these. Yeah, make sure that you've got full support whilst you're doing each of these. And then finally, we've got the hamstring. You're going to, again, make sure that we're going right the way up to the top and down towards the knee. Again, obviously, we'd go slower and make sure that we're getting into all areas of the muscles. There are other tools that you can use. So, say for example, with the gluteal muscles, you can use like a tennis ball. Sometimes you just can't quite get deep enough into the muscle tissue with a foam roller, so a tennis ball can work nicely. But if you have any further questions or you want to go through it in person, just feel free to send me an email or catch me after one of the classes, and we can spend some time going through it, making sure that you're getting into the right positions. There's other fantastic things we can do, like the fascia in the feet. So if you're getting any sort of tenderness in the feet, then again we can do things with foam rolling into the arches of the foot. There's also down the fronts of the shins as well that can be done, but I focus primarily on the main muscle groups that most people need to be working on. If you can be foam rolling at least after each session and maybe before, if you've got any problem areas, or at least doing it 2 or 3 times a week combined with stretches. So once you've foam rolled each of those muscles, you'd apply the stretches that
we cover for each of those muscle groups during the cool down, and that will really help to keep the muscles healthy and supple. Okay, any questions, just let us know.